Well, we are coming to you live in Mumbai, right at the Gateway of India, at the background on the anniversary of the 13th anniversary of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. But there are those forces which are Break India forces which are still active. And there is a big development that's coming through from London on crackdown on this entire referendum 2020 bogey and the seek for justice. Our investigations editor Manoj Gupta getting us these details that there were raids that were carried out by UK cops at the SFJ office in the United Kingdom. The raids happened on the 15th of November. The raids happened at the Seek for Justice office on the first floor of Sada Superstore, 356 Bath Road in Hounslow. The cops actually took away all electronic devices and documents. There were also information related to the so-called referendum bogey. And what sources are telling us is that they were these SFJ members were actually trying to create fake identity cards and fake votes and fake representations to try and bolster up the entire referendum bid. In fact, there were very few takers. There are many relevant documents pertaining to bogus voters in order to push up the voting numbers. Cops also received information regarding nefarious activities being carried out by SFJ representatives at their office. Now, Government of India sources, and this is again courtesy Manoj Gupta, the information that the above-mentioned address has been reportedly been the center of negative activities to defame India. This was being run by the SFJ, and they are closely associated with Pakistan and also a banned organization in India. This entire recent referendum was totally rejected by over 800,000 Sikh diaspora living in the United Kingdom. So a big, thumbs down to all those who were trying to further inject seeds of secession in our country and try and break it out. Sushant Sareen is with us. Sushant Sareen, this is also a big crackdown and also a call out of those people who are trying to create this entire bogey. 800,000 Sikhs have rejected, the Sikh diaspora outrightly rejecting these calls for a referendum or breaking Punjab from India.
That's true. Look, one of the unfortunate aspects of this entire movement, if you can call it that, is that almost 90 to 95% of the Sikh community, both in India as well as among the diaspora, has no truck with these extremists and these Pakistani agents. And there is no gain saying that Palistanis and especially organizations like the Sikhs for Justice, which is actually a misnomer if ever there was one. These are basically Pakistani-funded organizations, Pakistani-sponsored, and the Pakistanis have been using these organizations to stir up trouble in Punjab for many years now. So one is that these guys were never going to get any traction. It's a laughable exercise which they've been doing out. But what is more dangerous is that when you look at the kind of political mobilization which these characters are trying to do, with the reports of weapons being dropped to Punjab, drugs coming into Punjab, money coming into Punjab from across the border to incite trouble, to incite violence inside Punjab, I think it becomes really serious. Now, the Indian government has been leaning upon the British authorities to not allow this to go through unchallenged. And there were reports that the Indians have taken a very, very dim view of the British, just having a hands-off approach. Please remember that in the early 80s, the British adopted a similar approach, and we know the amount of murder and mayhem that visited Punjab in that decade. And we don't want a repeat of that. But this time, apparently, if the reports which you are now airing are correct, and I have no reason to believe that they are not, then clearly, some of the pressure which the Indian side has been putting on the British seems to be working, and that's something good. But I don't think we can rest on our laurels with just these raids. I think it is very important to know what was recovered from these raids, what was the intelligence and information which was coming, and not just in Britain, because Britain is only one node of the problem. The bigger problems are coming in Canada and some of the other countries around the world. So I think we'll have to be on our toes and not imagine that this Khalistan movement is dead and gone because enemies of India have a bad habit of coming back, in various forms and shapes. So we need to be alive to the threat which is being posed to this country.
Right. true, and not just UK, Canada, United States and all these places where they are trying to operate and deliberately trying to create strife and trying to create this entire perception. There are other people, entities too, who are collaborating with this lot, which is the SFJ. So Shansarin, thank you very, very much. But since we are talking about Break India forces, we are talking about this entire Tukde gang, there is a strong message that's come from the RSS Sarsang Chalak Mohan Bhagwat, who was talking about partition, and he said how partition hurt India, how in trying to assuage and in trying to appease, so much damage was done that this nation has never ever recovered. Thought was that if the nation is divided on the grounds of religion and there is a Hindustan and Pakistan, bloodshed would stop, mayhem would stop, because the 1920s, the 1930s witnessed the kind of riots and bloodshed which had never been seen before, and it was telling the kind of bloodshed that was spilled, blood that was being spilled on the streets of Bharat. But he says that the bloodshed didn't stop and these demands didn't stop, and that's why he said that the Bharat of 1947 is different from the Bharat of 2021, and this time around anybody who tries to break our country will be dismantled.
ये आकांक्षा रखना कि हंस के लिया पाकिस्तान लड़के लेंगे हिंदुस्तान, तो अब आपको क्या लगता है पता नहीं, मैं सारे देश में घूमता हूं, मैं आपको बताता हूं, ये 2021 है, 1947 नहीं। भारत का विभाजन एक बार संभव हुआ, एक बहुत बड़ी ठोकर हमारे समाज ने खाई, लहू लुहान हो गया, पीड़ा से कुलबुला उठा, लेकिन वो अब इस बात को भूलेगा नहीं, और इसलिए भारत का और विभाजन संभव है। कोई करने के लिए प्रयास करेगा तो उसके टुकड़े होंगे।
Mohan Bhagwat's Akhand Bharat comment, is it a firm warning to the Tukde gang? We debate that later tonight on the Right Stand at 7:57 p.m. Do join us there. On to more news coming through, and another cluster outbreak has been reported in the state of Karnataka. So after the medical college in Dharwad, now there are 12 more students in a college in Bengaluru who have tested positive. 11 of them are fully vaccinated. We try and go across to Revati for more details. Yes, Revati. Well, we'll try and connect with Revati in just a bit, but earlier in the day we had update coming through that out of more than 400 students in a medical college in Dharwad, about 130 to 182 had tested positive. All of them were fully vaccinated, and that was a cause for concern, saying that those who are fully vaccinated, doubly vaccinated, are also contracting COVID-19. But medical experts have very clearly said that it's not that you would not contract COVID-19, but it should be the intensity of the illness that you contract. But the fact that it has been at such a big number, that is a cause for concern. So it is Bengaluru after Dharwad, Revati.
That's right. After 182 students in Dharwad in that medical college, two clusters from Bangalore that has been reported in the last 2 days. First is a school in Whitefield where 33 students and a staff have tested positive. All of them have been quarantined. Other samples have been also sent for testing. In another cluster, a nursing college, in fact, in Anikal, that's in the outskirts of Bengaluru, there 12 students have tested positive. These are BSc nursing students. Of these 12 students, 11 students have completed their vaccination schedule. So in all of these clusters, what we're given to understand is that even if you have taken 2 doses of vaccine, or if you have completed your vaccination schedule, you still contract the virus, except in this case of school students. So officials are telling us that.
Well, Revati, thank you for your inputs. With that, it's a wrap of this edition of The Nation at 5. Stay with us. Short break and Viewpoint follows.